It was a headline story. The NAACP demanded an investigation and got it. The Fire Commission did it. And their report said, and I quote, "The question deserves the most truthful answer. We did not find one indication of any such bias influencing the professional performance." At the same time, the report says, one cannot avoid the very obvious feeling in the Ingleside that there should be more Negro firemen in San Francisco. Close quote. Now, what the Ingleside neighbors had fresh in their minds when they were upset at that time was a recent community meeting when the fire chief answered a question as to why there weren't more Negro firefighters. And the reason that the chief gave them in 1967 was that Negroes were afraid of fire. The fire that the commission reported to the mayor took place on November 26, 1967, and they concluded their report with these words, and I quote once again, "This report is the first of its kind ever requested of a fire commission by its mayor in San Francisco. And the man who, we hope," it says, "that it's the last that will ever be needed, and the man who signed that report as president of the fire commission was Mo Bernstein, who deserves to be an honored guest today, and only his illness prevents him from being here. That was more than 20 years ago. Most of you were in second grade then. Many of you then could never have hoped to be a firefighter. The mayor's files show more reports that say the same thing over and over and over and over again for the next 17 years. In 1970, here's what one of them said, quote, "By any objective criteria, it is apparent that the civil service, and to a lesser degree the fire department, have failed to attract and employ any more than a token representation from among the predominant minority groups of San Francisco, specifically from the black, brown, and oriental population. And the fire department should lead the effort in this area." Close quote. And then, that was 1970. And then in 1971, 72, 73, 74, 75, the same sentence is found in every report, word for word, because nothing changed. Except in 1973, another paragraph found its way into the report. And this is what that paragraph said. Quote, "Women should be allowed to become firefighters, H2 firefighters. Initially, the report says they would receive the same training as their male counterparts, but they would not be placed in the fire stations for at least 2 years. Their assignments, the report says, would be in quasi-administrative posts." We all know what that means, don't we? At the end of 2 years, the report said, we would assign at least 2 women to a predetermined fire station and study their ability to adapt to the rigors of firefighting. Close quote. That was 1973. And it didn't happen in 2 years. It didn't happen in 5 years. It didn't happen in 10 years. In fact, it didn't happen for 15 years until we got a new fire chief and a new mayor who's telling you why he's angry. And in all those years, while women could not go into the firehouse, blacks were subjected to the cruelest form of racism inside the firehouse. In the late 1970s and in the early 1980s, black firefighter union leaders like Bob Demmons were called monkey and slopehead to their face. In 1981, a white firefighter crept up on a sleeping black firefighter and urinated on him while he slept. In 1983, a black firefighter union leader was called nigger pimp by the chief's assistant at the headquarters. For 3 years, a Jewish firefighter found swastikas placed in his locker, and on one day found a mattress with his name scrawled on it and stuffed into an oven in a visual replay of the Nazi Holocaust. In 1986, when a black firefighter was recognized for being outstanding, one of the heroes of the year, that firefighter was airbrushed out of the picture before it was published. And there are hundreds more incidents like that pending today in front of the federal courts. How could such a thing happen from firefighters who daily risk their lives for someone outside of the firehouse, no matter what their race, creed, color, sex, sexual orientation? It starts the way a fire starts. Any fire with one match or one spark which lodges and takes hold. It usually happens in an unguarded moment where no one is watching, and the fire gets started, and it quickly gets out of control. Carelessness would be inexcusable, but by itself, it would not make me angry. By itself, it would not make me angry. What tips the balance to anger is the nucleus of a small group that goes further, which seeks to thwart any and all efforts to end prejudice. And so when a firefighter was found guilty for prejudiced actions against another of his fellow firefighters and suspended, the nucleus took up a collection so that the penalty of lost pay would not be felt. That insults justice and makes me angry. And by that action, what they signaled was that no one would have to pay a penalty. And when the fire department acted to end and correct historic discrimination in promotions, and when a black firefighter became the first black deputy fire chief in the history of this city, they sued to stop progress. That insults justice and makes me angry. And since Deputy Fire Chief Frank Scales was named as the city's first black deputy chief in 1988 and took over the responsibility for monitoring racial and sexist incidents, the number of complaints has declined. And so now, based on the fact that he has helped correct the situation and change our course, we face a lawsuit from the same nucleus claiming that there isn't a problem anymore, so we don't need his job. That insults justice and makes me angry. And these insults don't come cheap. The court costs for the consent decree alone will be $1.6 million to the taxpayers of this city. The racial harassment complaints alone, pending before the courts, will be another $12 million to the taxpayers of this city. It's difficult. It's difficult to look such facts in the face at any time, and certainly